On the surface, there's nothing about him she should like. He's hard, cold, and stubborn as a bull. He has no right to want to be with her. She's everything he's not: warm, patient, and attentive. And yet, the two of them find themselves badly wanting each other. But neither of them has ever had the guts to tell each other how they truly feel. Will they get it together? Or will she find comfort in the arms of someone who's brave enough to steal her heart? Jasiel Evans is at the 30th birthday party of his baby sister, Jordana. There are four Evans children: Jasiel, Jaden, Jackson, and Jordana. Jasiel is not a very social person. It's like he's showing up to his sister's birthday party because, he wants to show love. But if he could, he would probably be at home to himself. And the dinner, it's a birthday dinner party, so everybody is dressed in their finest, suits, pretty gowns, beautiful gowns. And in walks Gabrielle, or Gabrielle, I should say, who is the sister of Jordana's husband, Genesis. Jasiel is attracted to her. He finds her to be so beautiful. He's mesmerized as she's walking in with her red dress looking real good. He even gets a little jealous when his brother gives her like a long hug because it's just like, back up off my woman. That's not really my woman. And, he's watching her throughout the whole night. She's dancing with other people, which also makes him jealous until, he just can't take it anymore. And he leaves. But he leaves saying, goodbye to everybody but her, which of course hurts her feelings because she notices like he didn't even have the decency to say goodbye. And so this strengthens her feelings of, he's not attracted to me like I'm attracted to him, and they both feel the same way about each other. So um Gabrielle has a 6-year-old son, Kaiser, and there's just like a beautiful interaction with him because his little, I'm not bad, but he's trying to finesse his way into having ice cream for breakfast, and it's like, boy, go somewhere. So while she's, interacting with him, she gets a text from her best friend, or one of her best friends, Destiny, who tells her she better accept a date from this guy named Kieran, who is the son of a $1 billion tech empire. She met him a few months ago at a charity gala that was thrown by her brother and her sister in law. And, with them meeting each other and interacting with each other, she learned that his mother also committed suicide because her mother did as well. And Kieran's mother suffered from bipolar disorder and, I believe, postpartum depression, or just having depression. So she took her own life. So they bonded that way. And Gabrielle, she's hesitant because she's been celibate for 2 years and she's just not ready to jump back in the dating pool. She really doesn't want to do it, but her friend is like pressuring her, like, girl, you ain't had sex in what, 200 years? And it's like, bitch, it's only been two. It's not that bad. But, the more she's thinking about it, she's just like, I might. I might. And so Jasiel was having sex with a woman while wishing it was Gabrielle. He's looking down at the woman like, yeah, she's pretty, she has this and this, but I wish I was looking down into the eyes of Gabrielle. And the woman notices that something is off with him because she calls out his name and is like, is everything okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. Just focus on what we doing. And I'm just like, nigga, if I can notice that something is off with you, I'm not just gonna jump back into having sex. But he like flips her over, so he ain't got to look at her face, and they continue doing what they doing. I'm just like, that's some bullshit. And so we learned that because later on he's at work and his boss comes in wanting to hear about the birthday party, and he's like, you don't never want to know no stuff like that. But Jasiel is a DEA agent, That's a tongue twister. And has a almost father son relationship with Solomon. That's his boss's name. So after he tells him about the party, Solomon is just looking at him and he's like, "You told me to tell you about the party. Now you don't want to say nothing." He like, basically, I don't care about that damn party. I was waiting for you to tell me that you finally went after Gabrielle. Why you ain't got your girl yet? And Jasiel is regretting saying anything, but it was after a night where he had one too many drinks. He was showing Solomon pictures of Gabrielle, like, look at my lady, ain't she fine? You know. And Solomon has never let him forget it. So every time he see him, he's like, "You made your move yet? Is she your girlfriend yet? Like, is she your lady yet? Like, what we doing?" And so we get a little backstory on Genesis. Genesis' father was a kingpin. Well, I'm assuming Gabrielle's father too. Um, he was a kingpin and he was murdered. And so after he was murdered, the empire was still going. So Jasiel thought that Genesis was the one that took over. So he didn't like him at first. And when he found out that Genesis was dating Jordana, he acted a fool. And we just gonna say he almost ruined his relationship with his sister and his future brother-in-law. And Genesis was the one who gave Jasiel the information to take down his uncle, who was the one that took over and shut down the whole operation. So because he made the wrong assumption in the beginning, even though he says that Genesis is now basically his best friend, he feels as if Genesis would not want him with Gabrielle. And so he also fears that she may not feel the same way. So it's just like, I'm not gonna say anything because I just don't want to ruin either relationship at this point. And so we have Jordana like in their family group chat. She's like, since the birthday party, I ain't seen none of my brothers. Y'all don't come over, watch a movie with me, nothing. So was it Jaden? I think it was Jaden. He's like, "Yeah, girl, ain't nobody coming to see you. Thanks for the free food and the drinks that I had at your party, but baby, I'm not coming to see you." But it's all in fun and jokes, and they all say they're gonna pop up later on in the day just to chill with her. So she's like, "Okay, cool, can't wait to see y'all." And when he's pulling up, he sees Gabrielle's car. He's like, "Oh, she here," but she's coming out the door, and he like, "Where you going?" Because he knows that Sundays, because it was a Sunday, is the day that she spent with Kaiser, and Kaiser sees him as and the other brothers as his uncle now, and she's like, I'm dropping him off so Jordana can watch him for me. I got a date tonight, and when he hear that, he don't like that. He's like, "What you mean you got a date?" And so he takes this as an opportunity to flirt with her because she said something about, you didn't even say bye to me the other night. So I'm leaving. And he's like, "What you want? You wanted me to say bye?" And as soon as his brothers pull up to the gate, this gives her an opportunity to run out because it's just like, you acting weird, which would be weird because it's just like, even if we are attracted to each other, we ain't never did this. And out of the blue, you hear I got a date. Now you like brushing up against me, rubbing your hands, like against my arm or against my cheek. Like what's that? What's that about? So, on her date, she can't stop thinking about Jasiel. And what's his name? Lord. Kieran, he's like, "Are you okay? What's on your mind?" And she's like, "I just got things to think about." And this man done rented out the whole restaurant for her. He gifted her 2 dozen roses and Van Cleef earrings. Now, I'm not the label girl. I don't know what that means, but I'm going to assume that they're very expensive because he done rented out the restaurant. He buying roses and he got her these earrings. So she finally focuses on the date and they have like an okay conversation. It's really like nothing to write home about. And on the way home, she gets a text from Destiny. She's like, "Are you at home yet?" She's like, "No, almost on the way." Here go Destiny ass. "You gave him some pussy." And it's just like, girl, no, what the fuck is your problem? Like, ain't nothing wrong with first date sex. Like, come on now, everybody. Well, I ain't gonna say everybody do it, but there's nothing wrong with it. That's the bottom line. But when you know that's not the type of person that your friend is, why do you keep asking and why you keep pushing for that? Like, bitch, stop playing with me. No. And they planned on having a sleepover anyway. She's like, girl, so no. And when they pull up to her house, they notice a car in her driveway. And Kieran notices that it's Jasiel, so he's like, what is he doing here? But Gabrielle, like, she has no explanation because she don't know. So Jasiel comes to the car, pulls her out, basically telling Kieran he can skedaddle because it's like, I got her, she don't need your services for the night. Bye. And he like, I ain't talking to you, I'm talking to her, because he asked her if she was all good. And before things can go too far, Gabrielle looks at Kieran and says, I'm good, you can leave, have a good night. She even said, I'll call her, I'll text you later. And Jasiel's like, she ain't doing either one. And so when he leaves, it's like, what's going on? And he tells her, he's been waiting on her since she went on her date, wishing he never let her go. Not even wanting to see her get pretty for somebody else. And he finally tells her how much he wants her. And she's like, what? Why now? Why wait until someone else is showing interest in me that you decide that you want to say something? And he tells her, he was fearful. He let fear get in the way. And the thought of seeing her with somebody else, he couldn't take it, basically. So it's like, nah, before that can even get too serious, I'm here now. So, they flirting. He take her in the house. He like, I want you to ride my face. She's like, oh, baby, you ain't saying nothing but a word. And, that proceeds to happen. And it's like a little bit of that, a little bit of finger action. And, mama done got her 3 orgasms out the deal before her doorbell starts ringing. She done forgot all about Destiny ass, which, I mean, can you blame my girl? But she tells Jasiel she cannot see you. You need to leave through the back door right now. And at first, Jasiel was just staring at her like, damn. And it hurt his feelings automatically because it's just like, your first thought is to push me out the back door like I'm a side piece or some shit like that. And so he leaves because she was like, you need to leave. Jasiel, he's like, I heard you the first time. I'm fucking leaving. Like, relax. And he leaves. And she, like, thinking to herself, she's like, this is the second time he's left without saying goodbye. And it's like, Miss Gabrielle, no, we're going to pull over to the side right quick. You do not get to feel slighted in this instance when you push that man out the door the way you did. Because it's just like, he finally confessed, like, he's ready. And you're agreeing to him being ready because, y'all did what you did. And he told you, like, okay, at first I was fearful, but now I'm no longer fearful. I'm ready. And y'all go in the house, do what y'all did. And then as soon as you hear the doorbell, you push him out the back door like he a secret. So the fact that he did not say bye to you when you steady trying to push him like you panicking, you don't get to bring up the fact that he didn't say bye to you. You just don't get to do that. I was like, when I read that, I'm like, girl, no, you don't get to feel this way right now. So anyway, it's like the next day or later on at night. Anyway, she texts him like, hey, Jazz, I know things ended on a weird note, but call me when you can. And it's like, yeah, it ended on a weird note because you allowed it to be that way. Because even if you didn't want Destiny to know, because when she let Destiny in, Destiny was like, who car is that in the driveway? And she gonna say, that's my brother's car. He was letting me drive it to see if I wanted a BMW. When you could have went to the door, could have pulled it slightly open, like, girl, I'm so sorry, but change of plans. I'll talk to you later. And I'd have closed the door in her face, like, you've been wanting me to get this pussy up, right? Gave the pussy up. So bye-bye. And pushed her on out the door, and it could have been that. But the thing about that is, when they were having a conversation, I forgot to mention that, Destiny brought up Jasiel, like, she has a little crush on him too. But the fact that Gabrielle didn't mention her feelings for him you know, she feel like she can't say nothing because then it would cause something in the relationship. But it's like if it's not a real feeling that Destiny has for him, because she said that she would take any of the brothers. This is Destiny talking. So I'm trying to understand why you feel like you can't say nothing. Because anytime she say fine, Jasiel, I'd be like, ooh, back up on my man, though, sis. Back it up. But she don't do that. So anyway, it's been a couple days. He Jasiel has not responded to the text, and he still ain't called her. So while she's in the middle of work, and I forgot to mention that too, she writes poetry. So while she's in the middle of writing some stuff down, she receives more flowers and jewelry from uh uh what's that man's name? Kieran. I call him Kieran because it could be Karan. I don't know. And it's more flowers, and the earrings that he bought her, he added a necklace and a bracelet to go with it. And he said he brings up Jasiel because he was like, what was that whole thing the other night? And she tells him basically, don't worry about it. It was just him being protective. He's just family. And I said, see, that's where you fucked up right there. The shit that y'all did, you're not family. Like y'all. Lord. Anyway, whatever. We ain't even gonna get into it. So it is where. Ooh, skipping ahead. So Jasiel's feelings were, of course, hurt because we get his side of the story. He's like, and he's possibly regretting letting his feelings be known because, like I said, at the thought of her best friend showing up the way she panicked, there's no telling how she would react if their family found out, and he felt like she she was ashamed of him. And it's just like, so what am I gonna call you and say? Because what can you say to that? And it's like, it's plenty of things that could be said, but he's just scared to find out. So, where are we? So, after that, oh, then he tries to call her, but now she's ignoring him because his calls are going straight to voicemail. Nothing. So, Genesis tells the guys that he's planning a weekend getaway at a lake house for Gabrielle's 30th birthday now. And so, everyone will have their own rooms with a personal chef. And so when it's time for her birthday, they at the lake house getting everything set up, and they thought it was Destiny bringing her, but then I think Jordana got a phone call from Destiny saying she was running behind. So Jasiel is like, so who the fuck bringing her up here to lead her to the surprise? Lo and behold, it's Kiran. And he's like, what the fuck is this nigga doing here? And so, things are going smoothly until she receives a phone call for her birthday because they're like avoiding each other, not really saying anything to each other. So while she's talking on the phone, Jasiel is at the top of the stairs. And so she walks up to him, like after she gets off the phone, and she kisses him. So they both apologize for ignoring each other. And Jasiel lets her know how he felt. Like, I felt like you were ashamed of me. And she says, baby, no. I just panicked and did what I felt was natural at that moment because I feel like she would want Destiny to be the first one to know her business anyway. Even though that's her friend, Destiny she too damn nosy. So it's just like, no, I wanted that to be like our thing without anybody finding out about it. So they sneak off and Jasiel gives her head again when Kieran, I keep switching back from Kieran and Kieran. He comes knocking at the door, like, you've been gone for a minute. Are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm fine. I just need a minute to myself. He's like, you sure you don't want me to come in? And she's like, no, nigga, get away. Well, she don't say that, but she's just like, no, I'm good. I just need a moment to myself. I'll be back in a minute. And so, but I'm pretty sure she was thinking, like, nigga, you get the fuck away from this door. Like, mind your business. And so Jasiel talking shit. He like, you don't want to open the door? Let them see what's happening in here. She's like, man, no, like, stop playing. And so they decide to put this on hold for later because they've been gone for too long and they're going to get back to the festivities downstairs. And at the end of the night, she sneaks into his room where they have sex. And the next morning, Jasiel gives her her birthday present because he didn't give it to her in front of everybody. He was like, I wanted this to be a moment between us. So it's a necklace with a pendant engraved with a Spotify code. And when scanned with her phone, it'll pull up a playlist that he made for her. And when I first read this, I had little tears in my eyes because I'm like, but where are the men that are real life thoughtful like this? Like to actually put thought into a gift like that? Like, bitch, what? All I gotta do is scan this and pull up my playlist? Like the fact you even thought of me like this, like what the fuck? Like, and so he bought her some more stuff. He bought her a Cartier bracelet with her name on it and custom artwork made of all his favorite quotes from her poetry books. And so this, and she tells him like, "I love you. This is so thoughtful. Thank you." So later on, when they're having breakfast, I'm sorry because this is very much giving. Why did I get married? Like Kieran is still flirting with Gabby, talking about taking a trip and how he has a jet that they could just get onto. And Jasiel interferes like Trina ain't going nowhere with him and says, she's not going and stop touching her because, Kieran was feeling on her. And so this grabs everyone's attention because it's like, you got a little bit too much bass in your voice. What that is? And so Kieran, he's finally had enough. He's like, you always got something to say about what me and her got going on. Yeah, Mike, why can't this single man go with this single one? Like, nigga, what is the issue? And so this leads to a fight where Jasiel is whooping his ass. And Gabrielle, she told that man, it's giving very much, babe, stop. I know you. This is not you. Because she tells him, like, basically, look at me. If you love me as much as you say you do, you won't hurt him any further. I love you too much to see you continue to get out of character in front of our family. Baby, please don't do this. And so at first, Genesis is acting like he mad because he like, who the hell you calling baby? And so it's like awkward for a second until he pulls out $100 bill and gives it to his wife and says, "Damn, you actually won." And Joselle and Gabrielle are looking like, "What's going on?" And it's like everybody around y'all could see the feelings y'all have for each other. So while y'all thought y'all was hiding this shit, y'all was actually terrible at it, and everybody knew. So it was just a bet of this trip, this birthday trip, you finally acknowledging how you feel in front of everybody. And Jordana won the bet while Genesis thought he didn't have it in him to do it. And Kira was pissed because he's like, so y'all knew this and y'all let me come here anyway? Like, what am I, just a pawn in y'all fucking game? And Genesis tells him, no, I wasn't trying to play with your feelings or nothing like that. I really thought you could make my sister happy if he wasn't going to step up to the plate. But it's just the fact that he did. So, you know, oops. And I thought at that moment that Kieran, like, he would leave because it's just like, okay, ain't nothing here for you no more. You can go. But he actually stays for the rest of the trip, which blew my mind because I'm like, even though he is friends with Genesis, it's just like, I'd be too embarrassed to stick around. I'm sorry. Because I would feel like I was a part of a scheme that Todd had set up to come at me with the bullshit. So I would have left. But he stayed. He like, it's all good, whoop de whoop, whatever. So, and for just like a quick little minute, Kaiser, he was upset. And he was like, he told, uh, not Kaiser, Lord. Kaiser told Jasiel, like, you're not my friend anymore. You're only worried about mommy now. You're not going to have any time for me. And that's what he was upset about. And it's just like, no, actually, because you just have to explain this to a 6-year-old. He's like, no, actually, this will give me more time with you because, I'm going to be seeing you and mommy more. So it's like, oh, really? Yeah, really. And so later on down the line, after the birthday party and they're back at home for their first date, Jasiel sets up like a sip and paint, Lord, excuse me, with Kaiser included. It's like, this is a family first date, which she loves because she never wants her son to feel as if he's being pushed to the side or ignored. And he was Uncle Jasiel first before is basically like stepdaddy. So he was always thinking about Kaiser. And then we have a year later, they got married, and Gabrielle is pregnant with a baby girl on the way, and Jasiel whisked her away on a baby moon, which I thought was so cute. It's just like, let's celebrate the fact that we're about to bring a baby into the world and just have time for ourselves. All right, that's all I got. I hope you guys enjoyed the story, and I'll see you back in the next episode. Peace and blessings, my beautiful people.